Your options are maintain your innocence and stay on Rikers Island, or plead guilty and go home.
She couldn't pay $500 at that time. And because of a $500 bail, her life was taken.
Life was literally over for me because, like, where am I going to get this money from?
That is one of the great injustices we're trying to solve here, where bail is set, someone who's poor sits in jail, they sit there long enough, and yes, bail is, as you pointed out, then used as leverage to elicit a guilty plea, which then follows that young person around for the rest of their lives.
I think bail's supposed to take into consideration a person's ability to pay, and it hasn't done that over time. And what we've seen in our sort of like an arraignment and what's going on in courts is that sometimes folks sneak on a train because they don't have $2.75. So once they get into court, they're given a bail of $500. So if you don't have $2.75, there's no way you're even going to have $250 to get out. And in that context, the person just languishes on Rikers Island with an inability to get out because of this wealth-based detention.
It was life was awesome. To me, we didn't have it all, but together we had everything. I wish I could go back and relive those moments, so I wish I could rewind time and just have her here with me. My sister, Laylene Polanco, she was arrested on a misdemeanor charge and she was held at Rikers Island on a $500 bail. She was placed in solitary confinement despite her medical condition. She was epileptic. They held her there knowing that she had a medical condition. They were very aware of it, and my sister was found unresponsive in her cell. June 7th was when they told us what happened to, that my sister was found unresponsive. We didn't find out until 2 months later what happened, how she passed away. They went silent on us completely. I just remember my whole world feeling like it was collapsing around me, and like I feel like I was in a twilight zone. It's not right that because they can't pay $500, they send them to these prisons where now they have to fight for their lives. For instance, my sister obviously didn't have it because she would have bailed herself out, and she wasn't going to tell us because she was very protective of us and just very independent and wanted to do things herself, and which is okay. But like her, she couldn't pay $500 at that time. And because of a $500 bail, her life was taken. She's not here today. She was sent to Rikers, and she was placed in the solitary confinement, and where she died because of a $500 bail. To me and my family, it's very important that cash bail ends and solitary confinement ends. And the reform litigation should go into effect. Why do we have to wait until January of 2020? My sister would have been alive. And I'm pretty sure from here to 2020, there will be other families in my situation, sad to say.
Oh my goodness. I was like almost speechless because of the handcuffs on my baby. I said, why would they have to bring her out of the handcuffs on her? And so when I was sitting here watching her, standing there with the handcuffs on, and I'm saying to the officer, can't they take the handcuffs off of her? And he said, not until they call her up to the judge. When she went up for the judge set her bail for $2,500. And that was a cash bill. It was like extra $5,000, but we had to come up with $2,500 like within hours. I know it was time for bills. It was time for my mortgage to be paid. I didn't care. So I said, no, I just went to the bank and I drew the money out. I said, because she'll not get on no bus to go to Rikers Island. So I just like, I forget about the bail. So if they send me a letter, whatever, but no, she's not going in that system. So I had to make a decision, which I did. I got more involved with bail reform because young girls coming out there with handcuffs on myself, like I just wanted to cry for them. Now, I have an organization called NYCC, so yes, that's what made me get involved. I would love to see free bail for everyone, and I will continue to fight until something is happening.
The communities by which 85% of the people who are contributing to mass incarceration comes from, it's low-level communities. It's the low-hanging fruit. We want a total reanalysis of that. We want to critique that, and we want those sort of like practices to stop in those impacted communities.
Robert's birthday is May 13th, so it was early May. June 2nd, I was bringing Robert home from school, and there were 2 white men at my door. So they were like, are you throwing shivers? I was like, yes, I am. They was like, well, you know what we're here for? I was like, no. He was like, well, you're under arrest. In front of my son, we just coming home from the charter school. Arrest for what? Assault. Who did I assault? So they handcuffed me in front of my son. Thank God my sister lived in the building because they just handcuffed me and took me to their car. Here it is, only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My son's just getting home from school. Now you got me here at this precinct and I gotta stay till tomorrow, what? So I get in front of the judge and the judge is like, well, this is just for bond now. It's nothing about the incident. So the judge says, do you work? I was like, no. They was like, do you have any income coming in? I said, yes, sir. I get $695 a month. The judge said, your bond is $1,000. They usually want 20%, but they charged me $300 to get out on that $1,000. Life was over. Life was literally over for me because, like, where am I going to get this money from? And before I knew it, the landlord had called the sheriff's office and said, well, we want her out of here. And the sheriff came to my house to put me out.
Even throughout the 80s and the 90s, not only the drug laws, but bail has been the #1 driving force of mass incarceration. For instance, if you're languishing on Rikers Island, your options are maintain your innocence and stay on Rikers Island or plead guilty and go home. The majority of the people will plead guilty just to go home. So we've been interrupting that process. So the first thing to do is just to get involved. Get involved with some of your local legislation, get involved with some of your community members. I think we need to hold our elected officials accountable, and that's something that even citizens can do.
I was wrong, and I have a lot of anger inside of me, but I'm just gonna take this anger and make it work for me. I'm gonna make sure this doesn't happen to nobody else. It's not gonna happen to nobody else. We can't. I have a son, and I vow with all of this community service that I do for my community, there's a need. People need me here. I have a purpose. I wanna be a part of this fight.